You want a free ride? Fine, I'll take you to Mexico. In 2018, I lived in southern CA while I was finishing up graduate school. Uber was more popular than ever, and given how spread out CA is in general, was an easy side hustle to shuttle people back and forth. However, I only did it for a little while because I'm not really the most patient person and eventually got tired of people's BS and attitudes. One of the common tactics for customers looking to screw a driver was to cancel their rides in the middle of the trip to avoid paying the fare. They would often say how they did it accidentally and then ask me if I could just finish the trip since we were basically there anyway. This happened to me 3 times. The first 2 times, I pulled over and told them to get out of my car, to which they complied, albeit they called me several names and threatened to kill me. The third time is the subject of this post. It was about 4:30 in the afternoon on a Tuesday when I decided to log on and catch some fares. Most people go into the office on Tuesdays and Thursdays and are looking to get rides home between 4 to 5 p.m. to beat the traffic. At this point, I should mention that I was living in San Diego. If you know the area, you'd know that many people work in the city and live in the outer areas: Chula Vista, Imperial Beach, Escondido, Pacific Beach, because it's cheaper. The day of the event, oh yes, it was an event LOL, I picked up a middle-aged girl who was a student at the community college downtown. Although she was in community college, I could tell she had money by the way she dressed and where she was going: La Jolla. She gets in my car and starts to make conversation with me. I am driving through town, and as I am about to get on the highway, I hear the cancellation ding. I pull over to a parking lot and let her know that she cancelled the ride and I could not drive her until she rebooked it. She gave me the "it was an accident" excuse. I told her not a problem and to just rebook the route. Well, at this point, all those people I told you about earlier had just got off of work and we were in what I call the power hour of maximum surge pricing. La Jolla is like 25 to 40 minutes from downtown San Diego depending on traffic. I looked and the trip would have cost her $70. She told me that she wasn't going to pay that. I said fine and I asked that she exit my vehicle. She refused and told me to take her home like I was her chauffeur. At this point, I was pissed and wouldn't have done it even if she gave me $100 cash. I didn't really need the money. I asked her politely again. She refused. I had never really gotten to this point before. The other 2 people were guys and I would have had no qualms about yanking their asses out by force and beating them in the middle of the highway. However, that wouldn't have been a good look in this situation. I thought about going to the police given we were 3 blocks from the headquarters, but I wanted her to feel the burn. Malicious compliance. I asked her if she wanted a free ride. She suddenly perked up and said, "I knew you'd come around, you are such a nice guy." I said buckle up and we got on Interstate 5. Here is the part where I tell you that San Diego is 16 miles from the Mexican border. I also keep my passport in my glove compartment because I did volunteer work in Rosarito every so often. We were about 4 minutes into the ride when she asked where we were going. I turned around and told her I'm going to Tijuana and I'm glad you could join me. I hope you brought your passport. At first, she didn't think I was serious, but by exit 4 she started to panic. I told her she was welcome to get out at any time, but she needed to make a decision soon because after we passed exit 1 there was no turning back. I also told her that I wasn't taking her back. Well, she got the message and pleaded for me to pull over. I pulled over and dropped her off at the outlet mall in San Isidro at the border. Just for shits and giggles I checked the Uber rate from the mall to La Jolla and the cheapest rate was $87 for a pool ride. I didn't make any money that night, but that was the richest experience I had while being a rideshare driver. I stopped about 1 month later and sold my car. Edit. For those concerned that I was going to kidnap this chick, I communicated with both Uber support and a few of my friends to let them know she would not get out my car after being asked repeatedly prior to driving towards the border. I covered my bases. Now to the comments. As an Uber driver, I hope you reported those riders to Uber, that way they can't pull that shit on anyone else. How is Uber in dealing with people who repeatedly cancel rides? I would think that after a few cancellations they just ban you. Nowadays if you cancel and the driver is already on the way you get charged the estimated cost of your ride. I guess in 2018 they hadn't added that yet. Ha ha ha, holy duck. What lawful evil? Don't want to pay? I'm taking you to a different country. Tonight at 6, new vigilante deportation Uber spree in CA. Some Uber drivers are taking cancelled fares to Mexico as retaliation, more at 11, because let's be honest, that's how the news works. Now she has a story about that crazy Uber driver who tried to sell her kidney in Tijuana. What you don't know is that she is a Redditor, and somewhere in Reddit there is a story with a title like your comment. Well, here I was considering ride-share for a summer job. Ride-sharing was a thought, but this kinda thing popped up a lot doing research and I was like, I'm probably losing money doing this. In all likelihood, yes. Wear and tear on your vehicle, angry/abusive/drunk passengers, gas, mileage, it all adds up. If the world has reformed by then, I'd super recommend a grocery store job. Stocking/cashiering/produce are always hiring, especially now, and I would bet into the summer. You usually get great benefits if you decide to go full-time, and the better stores have co-op and 401k matching programs. Plus, you usually get to take home free food. Grocery store I used to work at, Hy-Vee, dropped their name because Duck M fired people for taking food that was literally on its way to the trash. They would rather waste carts full of bakery items and produce than let their minimum wage slaves have a free cookie or apple. But yeah, decent benefits and profit sharing, that part is true. Middle-aged girl? Yeah, I have no idea what age I'm supposed to be picturing here. I grew up in Chula Vista and have driven that route many times. I hate the final no-return exit. When younger I was always terrified, I'd miss the last exit and accidentally end up in Mexico. I once rode the blue line to the border for shits and giggles, did not get trapped in Mexico. I would have just called the police, LOL, I'd have been like, your new Uber will be here soon. Same. This explains why the idiot driver who picked me up in Santa Barbara got mad and accused me of canceling the trip. I didn't, but he was driving through a dead zone leaving the resort. Guy got really pissed. I was totally confused. He started to pull over in the dead zone and I actually got scared because number 1 dead zone and number 2 now in going to be late for 4. I had a rental but my co-worker and I had to be at opposite sites, and since theirs was further I let them take the rental. The guy was borderline belligerent for that scary couple of minutes. Luckily his phone picked up the signal and he mumbled something and kept driver. Most tense ride of my life, especially since he was taking the long way to our destination and kept making wrong turns. I don't think I gave him bad rating, although I should have. I chalked it up to not being a native English speaker. But I didn't get back in a Uber for a long time after that. So, like, what would it take for a 1 or 2 star rating to be given from you? You seem very forgiving. Yeah, he stabbed me a few times, but at least that made me finally go to the doctor and get checked, which I haven't done for too long anyways. 3 stars. I'm fascinated by the legalities of this one. On one hand, it does sound a lot like kidnapping, but on the other, can it be kidnapping if the victim literally refuses to leave your car even after you insisting on it? I've got no idea if you're an A or not. I'm pretty sure you should have just taken her to the police station. Heck, surely what she's doing is some kind of crime. Canceling a fare must be some kind of theft, right? Anyway, I like the story. Heck, surely what she's doing is some kind of crime. Canceling a fare must be some kind of theft, right? Nope. Drivers get paid for the time and distance right up to the point of cancel. Morally shitty, but not illegal. Taking the rider to somewhere other than their agreed upon destination could be considered kidnapping. The whole thing here is a yes, But really no, but really yes answer. Basically, to have kidnapping, you need to restrain a person by force or threat of force, and then take them to a location they don't want to go. Yes, this is the simplified explanation, so please save the hate. Anyways, most cars have automatic door locks, so the argument could be made that the driver did restrain the rider. Additionally, by hopping on the expressway, there is a threat of force/injury. Jumping out of a car moving at 60 miles per hour is going to hurt, so, a dicta could make the case for kidnapping. Would it really happen? Probably not, but you're certainly not going to have a fun afternoon dealing with this. The preferred way to deal with situations like this is to ask them to leave, demand they leave, threaten to call the cops, and then wait. In 3 years of driving and roughly 6K rides given, I've had to threaten to call the cops twice, and actually call the cops once. Then again, I'm 6'3", 300 pounds, shaved head, tats, and have a voice that carries quite well, verbal judo FTW, so maybe that has something to do with it too. I thought it was a way to get out of the fare entirely. Wow, people do this just to get out of a portion of the fare? Some people just suck. Interesting insight into the legalities. Thanks.